Alright guys, we're going to keep it going with the theme of our grocery store basement. Having a heat wave outside is really a good excuse to be in the basement working. We just put new drywall up and we put new recessed lighting up. Hey, look at this. Lard. Organic, pasture raised in our backyard. 3 years ago I built these shelves and I think we're already growing out of it. We need to utilize vertical space better in here. We have a big table here. Lorraine likes that, so we want to keep that. But as we were talking, figuring out what we want to do, I think we need some kind of shelving that goes up and more shelving that goes up here to utilize this space. First, we need some measurements. And then we need to take some of this stuff out of here. Before we get going, I need to stop by my storage unit and pick up some 2x4s. It's so nice to have material stored here, so that way I don't have to store it in my barn. So the goal is to do as much cutting and putting together of this shelf here outside in the barn, and then we'll put it together in the basement. For some reason, I have a full sheet of plywood already. Yay, and we get to use our new barn space. Yeah, one cut right in half. Try not to waste. Pre-drill. Yeah, we're gonna add one in the middle just to give it some added strength in case we're putting pounds of food on this. The goal for this project is to try to utilize what we already have, keep it minimal, keep it simple, and just have fun, man. This part's going to be the table to the shelf. So I just sanded it, and I'm gonna put some sealer. This is some shellac, clear shellac, and I'm just gonna seal it a little better. Not going crazy on this stuff, just something added protection in case you need to wipe something off or clean it easier. All right, there it is, guys. We're in the basement now, and that's the pieces. So we got the legs. We have 1, 2, 3 shelves, and then now we're basically just going to put it together like a big IKEA shelf. So this is the bottom leg, and we're going to add like a little support. Also, this is going to help me mount the first shelf. we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this shelf, the second shelf. Alright, because I like to point out my mistakes, keeps me honest. I've cut it about 2 inches too short. So I just added the difference, which is about 2 inches, and then it's resting on the leg. So I drilled this in, and then I drilled this in. I think it's gonna hold. I mean, just don't put super heavy stuff up top. That freeze dryer, it's pretty heavy, so that's another reason why I added an extra piece 2x4 here.
Ooh, wow, that's cool. That's so nice. So are we gonna scoot this table up against it?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we gotta scoot it up that much.
Cool, I love this.
And the dehydrator. All right, this shelf is done. You know, we could always move this stuff around if we need to, you know, move the freeze dryer over, or, you know, depending on what we like, but I kind of had to leave this open for this outlet on the wall. Also more work surface here. And we have a shelf, more vertical shelf to put up here, maybe some baskets or something. The bottom shelf is up tall enough so you could put a 5-gallon bucket in there. All right, one shelf down. Now let's do shelf number 2. Yeah, these next shelves getting a little bit fancy. It's gonna be a different way to make a shelf. We got 3/4 inch plywood, a plunge router, goes up and downies. It's gonna be kind of like that. That's the idea. Basically making kind of like a cubby box. Doing it this way with the router, you know, one for you need the router. This way is a little bit more difficult if you don't have that. It's tedious and you pretty much have to be right on, but less material. So I have a bunch of scrap plywood, just kind of random pieces, not really super long pieces. I'm gonna try to just utilize this stuff. Yeah, this is just a scrappy piece. I almost threw it away. All right, more grocery store shelves. I was hoping that would be all right. I had to take that measurement so this wouldn't be in the middle of this shelf, and I barely made it. If this was going in our kitchen, I would definitely be trimming this out with some oak or some really hard woods, really nice. But since it's in our basement, I don't think it's totally necessary. I mean, nothing fancy, right? Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. As long as the shelves are sturdy and there's plenty of them. I mean, this table was a bed at one point. Now, I think eventually we're gonna get this shelf and push it back some to give us more room in here. If I did nothing else, even just having this lighting was 10 times better. All right, Lorraine, there it is. Your basement of your dreams.
Yay, that's so cool. I love it. I love the tabletop space because I do a lot of things down here. This is gonna help me put away and preserve a lot of our food, and it gives me extra counter space to kind of just like set things down and then kind of organize and reorganize. And I love the vertical space because that's something that we weren't taking advantage of. We had a lot of wasted space here, and we already have outgrown this little tiny pantry. So this is going to be so helpful to me. Look at that. We've got our half-gallon size plus a little extra room, and then we've got our quart size.
Now, when I built this, I didn't take consideration on measurements at all. All I knew is that I did not want to cover this outlet.
Yeah, and I probably won't cover it either. So if I put my jars, I'm just gonna leave a little tunnel here where I can just stick it in. But I mean, we also have an outlet over here too, so I don't know how much use this one's gonna get, but it is helpful to have this outlet here. So I put a couple things in here just to kind of see how it would look, and I love the way it looks. I love that it's so much brighter in here and I can see what I have. But I could also change this out. I could also put my spices in here. This could all, because I have a lot of spices that I keep. So I could change it out, and it could be just a spice shelf. And then that could be the canning shelf, food shelf. I don't know. So I think I'm just going to continue playing around with it and just, you know, putting stuff in and just seeing. I mean, I have a whole lot more stuff to bring over. This is just kind of for me to get an idea of what it would look like if this is where I want to put stuff. So far I really like it because of all the sections. And that might help me say like, oh, well, we have like 12 jars of chicken. I might need another 10 or something. So I think it looks good. It's exciting.